Welcome back. This is Fire675. This is part 2 of my Rhino Dreadnaught Tier 2 Battleframe guide. First part I talked about the general overview of the frame and the primary weapon, the laser HMG. In part 2 I'm going to talk about some of the abilities, the unique abilities that this frame starts with, starting with the first ability I have queued up here. It's called Sundering Wave. The Sundering Wave does AoE damage, point-blank AoE damage around you, and it also starts with a 15% damage bonus, like a vulnerability debuff that you can stack on top of an enemy that gets hit by this. So, let's see, for example, I'm doing 323 damage per round with this laser HMK. So let me go get in here close, see if I can hit him with this ability. Running away, running away, running away. Okay. So I hit him with that, and now I'm doing 377 per bullet. You see now it's the debuff is already gone. So it's a pretty short-lasting debuff, but you do the initial damage plus you get the debuff, and it's not just for the damage that you're doing. That's for the damage that anybody does to the enemy while he has that debuff on him. So it's pretty good for raids, pretty good, well, if you're that close to a boss. It's, you know, good for grouping because it not only multiplies your damage done, it multiplies everyone else's damage that's being done to that target. So that's Sundering Wave. So the second ability I have here is called Charge. Now to me, Charge is what makes the Rhino the Rhino. When I think of the Rhino, I think of the supervillain, the Marvel supervillain, the Rhino, the big gray guy with the horn on his head. And what that guy does is he just runs at people and knocks people into walls and just runs over people, which is basically what Charge does for you. Once you activate it, you become like a ghost. You no longer have collision detection with enemies, but you can't walk through walls. But you can walk right through enemies without being knocked back. Any enemy that's in your immediate area, within the effect radius, which starts at 2 meters, which can be modded out. Anyone that's within that 2 meters while this is active will be knocked back according to your force level of this ability, and they will take damage, and they'll be snared for a short duration. So I like this, especially if you combine it with a couple different perks, or if you combine it with heavy armor, so you're not taking that much damage being that close in. You can start to pin people up against a wall and hit them multiple times with the same ability being active. Just kind of hoping to get him over here near the wall. It looks like he's kind of stuck. Well, let me help you out there, buddy. So you activate it, and then you can just run at him. I hit him twice. I think I hit him 3 times with that charge. So I pushed him right back. I took no damage while that was active. So that's a lot of fun, especially, like I said, when you get a group of targets together and you just knock them all back. And it's good for grouping too. This is a good technique to use when you've got an AoE teammate, say an assault type or like a recluse that can just pound in the AoE. You can use this to group up the enemies if they're all spread out. So get creative, use combos, use your teammates. Use the environment to help you out. The third unique ability that Rhinos start with is the Gravity Field Grenade. I have a hard time using this. I haven't really messed around with it too awful lot. it's a more of a defensive, I think, ability, but there are some offensive pieces to it. Basically, you throw out a grenade, and when it impacts, it creates a sphere of energy. Supposedly, bullets that go through it are pulled towards the center of the field. This will also snare targets that go through it. It will also put a vulnerability debuff on the target. It starts at 10% damage vulnerability. It's like I said, it's hard for me to use other than just try to lay it out there for the damage bonus. I haven't used it very much against targets that are shooting at me, but well, let's see. My base damage is 323 still. He's gonna charge me. So let me throw this down. So I'm doing 356 now. So the vulnerability debuff does work. He was snared a bit after walking through that. So I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't last very long. It'll get you your vulnerability buff. So use it if you want. There's probably defensive techniques of using this, maybe more towards PvP, where you can use it as like a defensive shield to stop incoming damage. But like I said, I haven't really worked around that too much. I've noticed the less than optimal usage of this, so I've usually swapped out other abilities that are more to my playstyle. And like I've discussed in other videos, if you're using a tier 2 frame, you can use any of the abilities that are open to you specifically for your frame. You can see at the bottom of the tooltip it says requires Rhino Dreadnaught type. But you can also use any of the tier 1 abilities that are based on your class. So anything that says Accord Dreadnaught or requires Dreadnaught type, you can equip. If you're taking out a boss, if you're taking out a tornado, anything that's not going to bother you for standing there still for a while. Turret mode is excellent. It works great. You just lock down, you get a rate of fire increase, and you actually gain a shield, and the shield actually regens after a while. It's an excellent ability. You have no mobility though. You are locked down, and this is your fire arc range. Anything outside of this range, you have to unlock and go about it. But it's a great ability. Like I said, for some situations. So it doesn't hurt to keep one of those in your bag. So if you see a tornado come down, you can pop that into your bar and use that ability. Another good ability that's shared with all the Dreadnaughts is Repulsor Blast. Basically, it's a point-blank AoE damage. It takes a second to cook, and then it blasts, and everything that's nearby takes damage and goes flying. I've covered this in some of the other Dreads videos. It works great. It works really good for Rhino because you can use this as a combo. You can say if you use Charge and you knock a whole bunch of enemies together against a wall somewhere where they're all grouped up. If you've got Repulsor Blast and you've got your Sundering Wave on cooldown, you knock him back with a Charge, you hit him with a Sundering Wave, and since the Sundering Wave doesn't knock them back, they're all still there, and then you can hit them with a Repulsor Blast. So you've got your grouping ability, you've got your Sundering Blast, which actually gives you a debuff on them to increase the damage, and then you can hit them with a Repulsor Blast. So I mean, it's a 3 ability combo right there, and it's actually really devastating. So you know, use your imagination. when you're selecting these abilities. There's other abilities like the Absorption Bomb. Basically, you get a shield, a damage shield, and any damage that comes in, instead of doing damage to you, gets stored up, and then after the time goes off, all that damage is reflected out. Okay, I'll get in between them here. Alright, shoot me. It's collecting all that damage, and it just hit them both for like 4,500, almost 5,000. So you can see how that ability would be nice if you had a whole bunch of enemies, like in a hallway, and you had used your charge and knocked them all back, and then they all started firing at you. You just use that ability, you're basically immune to damage, and then you return all the damage that they piled on you to everybody around you. So, force multiplier, it's a good way to go. So it's another point-blank AoE damage ability that you can use if you want. The nice thing about this frame is, unlike some of the other frames where all your abilities are spread out, you can have one movement ability, you can have one long-range ability, one short-range ability. Rhino, if you wanted to, you could actually take 3 point-blank AoE damage abilities. And I think there's a Firecat ability called Epicenter, which gives you a 15% bonus on any point-blank AoE damage that you do. So I mean, you could spec that way, spec heavy shields, spec toughness, so that you can get into point-blank range. And then you could have 3 abilities that, you know, do super damage up nice and close. So, you know, you could use this, you could use turret mode, you could use repulsor blast, you could use heavy armor, which is a shared Dreadnaught thing, ability. It just basically reduces damage. This right here, strengthened heavy armor, damage reduction, 37.5%. You could use that. It's only got a 6-minute duration. You may want to use something else like this, or you know, there's other perks that after you activate an ability, you actually gain a shield. So you might not need your heavy armor. There's other things, explosive rounds, which are great on every Dread frame. The only downside to explosive rounds is your alt fire, I don't believe, will take advantage of explosive rounds, because you're no longer using rounds. You are using a focused energy beam, which I don't believe counts as rounds. So as long as you're using a primary fire with that ability, it should work fine. You should get your extra DPS and splash AoE damage from that ability. So let's talk a little bit about the HKM. The unique HKM for the Rhino is it's called the Dreadfield. It's kind of neat. It says it's an energy vortex. It's like a cylindrical AoE that moves about you. While you have your Dreadfield up, it drains all the energy from the targets within the Dreadfield. You get a damage bonus while it's active. Your rate of fire increases, and the more enemies that are inside your Dreadfield, the higher your rate of fire goes up. And as long as there's at least one target inside the Dreadfield, you use 0 ammo. So that's you know, you'd be like, well, you know, 0 ammo, whatever. You know, you've got a clip of 300 rounds, and I showed you in part 1 how long you can shoot just holding down your primary fire. But you'd be better off using your secondary fire at that point, your alt fire with the laser beam, because that thing chews through so much ammo If you've got your Dreadfield up and you're not using any ammo, that's probably your best sustained damage ability at that point. So I'm going to go in and get it charged up, and I'll show you how it works. Alright. So there's my Dreadfield. Now I've got one guy inside, so I'm not spending any ammo. As long as you keep at least one inside, you don't use any ammo, and you get a damage bonus and a rate of fire bonus for every enemy that's inside that Dreadfield. So that's the HK on.